So you might be wondering, what are the pros and cons of building a new house versus buying an existing home here in Kansas City? Well, today we are going to talk about both the good and the bad of new construction, starting right here. We are in a brand new construction home in Kansas City, Missouri. This has just been built. Nobody has ever lived in this house before. But if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly where this house is located. You're not going to believe it. So let's head inside. So the first pro that you're getting is you're getting a brand new home here in Kansas City. A lot of people worry about maintenance. Am I going to have a leaky roof? Am I going to have an HVAC system that fails them? Well, when you buy a new construction home, all of that is brand new. So you can kind of rest assured knowing that a lot of these things are going to be taken care of. There are also some incentives and warranties that the builder will give, and we're going to talk about that more later in the video. So these are brand new doors and windows in this home, and according to the builder, that's a $45,000 upgrade, which I 100% believe. With everything being new, you can rely on it being the most energy efficient. I mean, I live in a house that's 100 years old. Our doors and windows are definitely not up to the level that these are, and we pay a higher energy bill because of that. I can guarantee you. If we lived in this home, the heating and cooling is going to be a lot more controlled. It's going to be a lot easier for you to heat and cool your home because it's a brand new home. One thing I kind of want to show you is downstairs, where the HVAC system is. You're gonna want to check this out because it's all brand new. So let's go. Okay, so this may be boring for you, but it's actually not for me, because one of the things that's gonna save you a lot of money is when these are new. This is a hot water heater. It provides hot water for your home. This is an HVAC system. It heats the air and it pumps air throughout your house. When these are brand new, you don't have to worry about these for probably 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 years. It just depends on how well you take care of these things. But when they're old, if you bought a house and you immediately had to replace these things, I would say you're probably going to be investing $10,000 plus as a starting point to get these things replaced. And if you don't have this, especially if you didn't have this during the winter, well, you're not going to be comfortable in your home. In fact, I had my HVAC system go out on one of the coldest days of the year, and we had to go to a neighbor's house because it was getting so cold for me and my children in the home. This is good peace of mind to have this brand new. Also too, you can see a lot of the electrical and the plumbing. This is all gonna be brand new and up to code. We're gonna head back to my house right now, and I'm gonna show you kind of some of the janky things that are going on in my house. I love my house, I don't wanna trash it, but this is a good illustration from something that's brand new up to code to something that's a lot older and maybe not quite up to code. So let's go back to my house. Okay, just wanna show you the convenience of having well-functioning components in your house. Actually, come a little bit closer here and I'll show you something. So you can see right here, this is my HVAC system in my house. It was built and installed in 2016, so it's not terribly old, but you can see right here that because of some of these leaks that I've patched up already, that there's rust forming on this cabinet. It's not necessarily worth it to me to just completely like polish this back to what it once was, but it's old. If I needed to replace it, it would cost me, I don't know, anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000. Okay, now as I'm walking on to the other side of this basement, don't judge me for my messy basement. Okay, as I'm walking to the other side of this basement, you can see my hot water heater was built in 2006. We're actually budgeting to replace this sucker probably by this time next year. Hopefully this will be replaced, but that's going to cost $800 to $1,500, just depending on which type of water heater that we get. So all of those things are things that you want to think about when you're considering buying a new home or buying a resale home. We love our home. There's nothing wrong with some of these components here, but it would be nice to have the peace of mind of not having to replace those things for a long, long time like you would in a new home. Okay, welcome out to Spring Hill. This is a brand new development of homes in Spring Hill, Kansas, which is a very attractive area in Johnson County. And we're gonna get to the first con of getting a brand new home, and that is typically waiting. I mean, around me, you see basically nothing. Like there's nothing really kind of done yet. All there is are empty lots. You've got the streets kind of poured and paved and everything like that. Behind me right there, you can see that that home is coming up, and it's coming up pretty quick, But if you got under contract today on one of these homes, the listing agent says you'd be waiting at least 60 to 90 days before these homes are done. You can see around me here, there's no foundations poured for any of these homes yet. I mean, the ones over there that you can see in the drone footage, they are poured, but they wouldn't let me walk down there because it's a construction zone. But you can see down here, it's just completely empty. So if you don't like waiting, typically for home resale, you need to wait at least 30 to 45 days. But it's going to be even longer for a new construction home. And here's a tip that nobody tells you. I once had a buyer who put in a contract for a new construction home. That waiting period was 120 days, so almost half a year. During those 120 days, from day one when she got under contract to day 120 when she closed on the home, the interest rates had jumped a lot higher, almost 2%. And typically when you're talking to a lender or when you're talking to somebody locking you in, they typically won't lock you in until they get a lot closer to the completion of the home. And so if you got quoted with the interest rate today of, let's just say 5.5% or 6.5%, by the time you close on one of these homes, it could be a lot higher, which is why you need the help of a professional to negotiate these new homes for you. We can do a lot on the front end to get you the best price for these new homes, including some free upgrades and including some wiggle room on price. We're gonna get to that a little bit later. But if you want us to help you with your new home purchase, 816-4MOVE-KC is our number. We have helped plenty of people relocate here into a brand new home. So if that's you and you want to do that, 816-4MOVE-KC. Also, if you decide that after watching this video that you don't want a new home, we can also help you with resale. We can help you get under contract and get a new to you home here in Kansas City. 816-4MOVE-KC. We would love to hear from you. So hey guys, I'm in a different new build in a different subdivision, and I wanted to point out another pro of getting a new build. One pro is that you get to customize your build to a certain extent. Now in this new build, you'll notice that the floor beneath me is not laid yet. It's just a plywood, and they need to lay either laminate tile or hardwood or whatever on top of this floor. And if you bought this house, you would get to choose. In a lot of resale homes, you don't get to choose. If it's carpet, it's carpet. If it's hardwood, it's hardwood. If it's messed up, it's messed up. But for you, you not only get something brand new, but typically you get to choose the color, you get to choose the texture, you get to choose the type. So that's something that you're not necessarily gonna get on a resale home. Typically in a lot of these new builds, they will have an office where you can go to. You can pick out a lot of things that they will customize for you when they build the home, including light fixtures, including paint colors, including floors, and all of that stuff. Now, one thing they typically won't do is they have certain plans that they will build. They won't necessarily add on a room, or they won't necessarily make a whole new custom home just for you unless you pay them a lot of money, or if you decide to build, on a lot that you own. Typically what they will have is a certain level of customization within what they offer. So I am in Olathe, Kansas in a newer subdivision, and behind me is a brand new 5-bedroom house. Don't worry, we're going to go inside, so keep on watching. But before we go inside, I want to talk to you about another one of the cons of possibly building a home, and that is that you can't really negotiate on price. Now, I want to caveat that. You can't really negotiate on price. But sometimes, if a new build has been sitting on the market for a long time, if you get the right realtor, again, give us a call, 816-4MOVE-KC. We can typically help you get a little bit underpriced. But one of the analogies for buying a new build is like this. If you go on Facebook Marketplace and you're looking for a bike and you see somebody saying, hey, I have a bike, it's used, I want $100 for it. I would have no problem, you should have no problem going to that person saying, hey, would you take $75? Would you take $80? Would you take $85, right? You can negotiate because there's kind of a wiggle room there. Now, let's just say that same bike was at Target. Would you go into Target and say, hey, I know you have that bike priced at $150, but would you take $75? No, it'd be kind of ridiculous. And it's almost the same way with new builds, because a lot of new builds are priced in a way that the price is not negotiable. The builder has to meet their margins, the builder has materials that they have to pay for, etc., etc. So that's one of the things that you're going to want to think about when you buy a house that's on the market. Depending on the market condition and depending on the motivation of the seller, that price is typically negotiable. It can go up or it can go down. So if you're looking to buy a new home, then that price is typically locked in place. I say typically because, again, if a home has been on the market for a long time, that builder is going to want to move it. So give us a call, 816-4MOVE-KC. We can help you find a home just like that where you can negotiate the price. But let's head inside. Okay, so we're inside this beautiful brand new house in Olathe, Kansas. Just kind of want to give you a quick walkthrough. This house has five bedrooms. Yes, you heard me, five. So that's really big. I know we probably wouldn't use all of those bedrooms, but maybe you would. And this is in the one of the last phases of this development. So when we were talking earlier about neighborhoods not being as established, you're not going to get that problem in this particular new build. So you've got a great master bedroom that connects to master bathroom here, which one of the plus features of this new build is that you have this closet area that's right next to the laundry room. So once you get your clothes dirty, you can easily toss them in here and get your laundry done. With a lot of these new builds nowadays, what they're doing is they're making sure that there's a lot of light coming in. So you've got really beautiful large windows overseeing the rest of the community. Like I said, one of the pluses of this one is that it definitely feels like a more established neighborhood as compared to that other one in Spring Hill. Let's head downstairs to the basement and I'll show you the massive basement space. So down here in the basement, you have unusually high ceilings for this basement. I would estimate they're at least 9 feet ceilings. And that's really, really nice because a lot of basements in Kansas City can definitely feel cramped. You have 2 extra bedrooms down here. And each of these bedrooms, you could easily fit queen size bed, full size bed, whatever you want. You can see behind me that this is an egress, so you can get out. There's a ladder here, making this a conforming bedroom, which is rare for a lot of basement bedrooms. So out again in Olathe in another new build, and I want to tell you a short story. This past weekend, I was up in Gladstone. There's this house listed for $400,000. I had a buyer who was interested in it. We submitted an offer for $415,000. That's right, over the asking price. And we did not get it. In the end, there were 15, you heard it right, 15 different offers. A lot of them waiving inspections, a lot of them waiving the appraisal. And eventually that house sold for $450,000. Why do I tell you this story? Is because one of the pros in a new build is that there's a lot less competition. So let's just say you wanted to buy this brand new house behind you. You're probably in luck. You can either buy that house or you can buy the house directly next to it because they are still building the subdivision. Even if you can't get either of those houses, I mean, there's empty lots behind me in which they're going to build and finish out. So when you decide to buy a new build, you eliminate a lot of the competition. Of course, somebody may say, hey, I really love this corner lot and I want this corner lot, and they're willing to, and you have to be quick to beat them out. However, it's not like with established homes. With established homes, you do have a lot of people fighting to buy them. With established homes, you have a lot of people putting in offers way over the asking price. Typically, you never have that in a new build. You have the price, which we talked about before is typically not negotiable. You have the price, which is the price. If you call a real estate agent like myself, we can help you negotiate some better terms of the purchase. However, there's typically not as much competition for a brand new house as there is for something that hits the resale market. That's typically how it's going to be. So if you want something where you don't have to pay way over the asking price, you may want to consider buying a new house. We are back out here in Spring Hill for our next con. A con of the new build process is that a lot of these communities will be unappealing for a short time. So even after you do all the waiting for your home to be built and you move in, a lot of this is not going to be developed yet. And so it's not necessarily super appealing being out here just amongst a bunch of dirt and, grading. And also one thing that could be unappealing, imagine you were in that home right there. You're the first person to move into this brand new community. Well, guess what? There's going to be construction going on all the time. Okay, they haven't even reached this road yet. And what I've heard is that they're going to buy the lot behind this too, and they're going to start development there. I can see over there, you've got tractors, you've got trailers of stuff, you've got roofers putting on that roof right there. So that can be something that's actually very unappealing for you if you don't want to deal with those types of things with a new build. A lot of these older homes in Kansas City are nestled in great communities already. You have walking trails, you have parks, you have established neighbors that have been there forever. Now, a pro could be that you're building a new community out here, but for right now, as we're talking about the cons, you're gonna have to think about whether you want to live in a brand new community that could be unattractive for a little while. So here is another pro in this brand new house back in this secret location that if you stay tuned, again, I'm going to show you exactly where this home is. But one of the cool things about getting a brand new home is not only is everything new, but you get stuff warranted. This builder provides a 1-year limited home warranty, meaning that if something should go wrong in your first year, again, every builder is different, so I don't want to tell you exactly what they're going to fix and what they're going to cover. But I do know that within that first year, if you have anything go wrong, reach out to your builder. They typically will warranty that. So let's just say you move in and that brand new HVAC system that we were just talking about earlier in the video goes out. Call your builder, say, hey, I'm having a problem. Is this covered by the home warranty? Or better yet, read your home warranty. Make sure you know exactly what's covered before you get into the new build, so that you can know exactly what to expect, because you don't want any surprises. But when you get an older home, you're not going to have a home warranty unless you can negotiate it for the seller to pay for it, or unless you pay for it yourself, which is something that honestly, as a realtor, I tell my clients that the home warranties are only really good if somebody else pays for them, because a lot of home warranty companies will try to get out of fixing stuff. But when you have a builder's warranty, you can read up front saying, hey, what exactly am I going to get covered if something goes wrong? And you can go from there. Okay, so let's get to another con of getting a new build. Let's just say you buy this beautiful new home for $615,000, like what it's listed for right now. And you close on it and you're happy. Let's just say a year later, you're offered a job that you absolutely cannot pass up. Okay, and you say, hey, Jalen, can you put this beautiful home back on the market? What I'll tell you is that, yes, I can put it on the market, and yes, I can sell it for you, but likely you will lose money on this house. The reason being is because if you look behind me right here, there are more new builds happening all the time. So let's just say somebody had the choice of your house for $615,000 a year from now, or a brand new house for $615,000 a year from now. What would they choose? A house that's never been lived in. And so the only time that houses typically lose value in the market is immediately after they're sold. If you have to sell a house within a year or 2 years of building it and living in it, you likely will lose money, especially if they're continuing to work on the subdivision. Like I said, like I'm showing you behind me, there are a lot of homes coming up in the subdivision, and if you had to sell this house immediately, you would lose money. You would likely not get your entire $615,000 back. That's something that you're going to want to know if you're considering a new build. Whereas if you bought a resale home, an existing home, those typically gain in value year after year, depending on the market. So I know I said that getting a new house is typically the only time a house will go down in value. However, remember that first house that we saw, that really super cool modern one? Let's head back there and I'll show you probably the only time getting a new build, probably the only time your house will not go down in value after getting a new build. That's because this new build that we're headed back to is in a premier location in Kansas City. They had completely torn down the house and put this brand new house on top of it. So let's head back there right now. Okay, so we're back at the first new build that I started with earlier in the video, and I told you to stick around and I'll show you exactly where this new build is located. Let's go right now. We're on the roof, or we're actually on the porch of this new build, and this new build is located in Westwood. If you don't know where Westwood is, it's right near the Country Club Plaza. So as you can see, these homes around it are all a lot older, probably built 80 to 100 years ago. So you're getting a brand new build in a prime location with a lot of charming historic homes around it.